Let's actually read. Let's see. Well, do you want to choose a question?
Okay.
Okay.
Great. By the way, I haven't heard any of these questions until now.
No. I mean, I purposely did not initiate Ryan to these questions because we wanted to keep it fresher, and because Ryan is really good at improvising, which I'm not. So, which is really good.
Dear aestheticist, I am a choreographer.
This is from the actual people that are here, so
yes,
this is really good. Yeah.
Recently, I've noticed that some artists whose work is basically choreography have had large-scale shows and sold pieces to major museums for lots of money. How can I transition into this situation? Or is this trend over? Thanks, Melinda. Well, thank you, Melinda.
That's a very good question. It's like, is it over? And maybe it's over.
Is the trend of dancers who are selling to museums over?
No. Well,
I think you always have to. I think it's anyone. If you leave any debris during the performance of your piece, then there will always be something for a museum to collect. And I think that won't change because museums are always wanting objects unless the mission of that museum is to not collect objects. And if the mission of the museum is to not collect objects, then there's nothing that they can write they can write a mission statement, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be drawing collectors to their board unless those collectors, I guess, are other performers or people who understand that and support that. So my answer is make your props available, but don't call them props.
You're right, Ryan. I think there's a semantic issue here that's very important. Like when you call your work choreography, then you create a sense that it is really like just exists in the dance world. But if you call it a conceptual art piece or a performance piece
or an installation piece,
when you present it in that context, then you start promoting the assumption that this is like a collectible item.
Right.
And it's actually the best example is how Tino Sehgal thought about. He really came from dance, and then he decided that he was basically going to use that and just call it performance, and then he was going to say that the performance was going to be sold, right? So,
and then so the question comes up: do you call yours something differently to open up the availability of your work into other venues? Because I think, I mean,
ultimately, it's how you insert your practice into the dialogue of that particular field.
Right.
You know, if you don't really understand that history, or then you try to enter into it, you know, it might just look naive. But I think in certain kinds of some of these artists that have sold their choreographies, they've also been very attuned with the kind of work that was going on outside of the dance world, I think.
Right. I think you have to say that I'm a hybrid artist. And I'm not just doing choreography, but it involves all kinds of elements that are of interest to you as well, even if you're not supporting just dance. Does that make sense? So it's like choreography. I don't call it choreography. I call it planned movement as part of a living installation.
Right. We're running out of time. I'm so sorry, but so we can do one last question. Can you pick another question?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not the same choreography question, please.
Oh, it is? Oh, no, it's not.
Okay.
What is to be done? Trotsky said artists should be revolutionaries. Stalin said they must serve the party.
They must serve what?
Must serve the party.
Oh.
Reagan said they need to dress well and compete with one another. Obama tells us to educate. Which is the correct path towards a true social aesthetic? Rosa.
Okay, let me read this again because I don't really...
Oh, do you want to do it again?
You can quite understand. So like Stalin said...
we just can pick another one because we don't like that one?
Okay, so Reagan said that they need to dress well and compete with one another.
It seems like it's still that.
So we are more Reaganites than Stalinists today. Because we don't serve...
You can dress well and you don't have to compete.
We don't serve the party, we serve ourselves at the party.
That's right. It's all about a party.
Yeah.
And we'll go to whatever party that you will, offer. I will.
Well, no, I mean, but the bottom line is like, what's really the social role of the artist, which is actually the question that is being asked in the context of this exhibition.
That's a good question then.
Which is really interesting because I think I have my opinions and maybe
I want to hear your opinions so I can develop mine.
No, I do think that it's unavoidable to actually serve a social cause. I think many of us believe that an artist is positioning himself or herself politically, even if you are
Yes.
renouncing politics, that's a political position. Right?
Yes, yeah.
So the thing is, how really are you going to be engaged in that social environment through your work or outside of your work?
Right.
And I think one of the interesting problems of the work that happens here is that it actually happens usually outside and inside the art world. Like it comes back and forth. But the art world because the art world is kind of blind outside of things that are part of the art world, you can only see the art world part of it. So people, a critic actually slammed this show, and it was very interesting because she actually, I don't think she really knows anything about education or pedagogy.
Right.
And she actually, basically criticized the show if it was kind of like a painting show, basically
Right.
looking at the objects, and that's one thing that happens that when you actually are doing things that go a little bit beyond, they just don't see that part.
And that's why an artist has to sometimes create a context for their work that goes beyond just what institutions have already set up. So you have to learn to talk about your work in a way that makes sense to who's viewing it.
But one thing that somebody asked me, also recently, what if the world depended on you, to save it? What kind of thing would you do?
Oh, good God. Great.
And my really answer to them was well, I think I will just stop making art and start becoming,
more socially.
Well, I think social
engaged.
engagement also involves that, not necessarily being married forever to the notion that it has to function in a gallery, has to be validated this or that way.
Yeah, I would say that for me, social engagement is not participating in a certain market that's already out there, and to say that the way that I am in the world is just as important as the way I could represent the world, and that by being in the world, I'm representing the world anyway.
Yeah.
So why not be socially engaged? Yeah, and I think I think you can't. Yeah, you're a social animal.
Yeah.
Whether you make a painting or whether you do performance or whether you work with your audience as part of your medium.
Okay, just to finish this thing, because this will end in a very sad note. Here's one that actually, another email that I got, which was, "Dear aestheticist, I want to be famous, and I'm open about it. What do you think I should do? Which one of these is the best way to get fast recognition, wealth, and fame? And if possible, to feel good about myself and what I do. A, contemporary art star. B, pop singer. C, actor. D, supermodel. My skills are very limited, but I have good ideas. Thanks, Anonymous."
What were the choices?
He's asking me whether he become a contemporary art star, pop singer, actor, or supermodel.
Why not become all of them?
Well, can you do that?
I think you can. You got to work hard or not work at all. I don't know.
Well, this was my answer to him.
Okay.
Or to her, I don't know who it is. "Dear Anonymous, you are amongst the minority. Who wants to be famous anymore? Be chased by paparazzi and tabloids, die of an overdose while still young, be immersed in legal battles with your many ex-spouses who will fight to take over your state, being debated publicly over the kind of liposuction or plastic surgery you have conducted on yourself. In any case, your avenues depend, as you might have guessed, on your abilities. If you have a great body, supermodel is a solution. If you know how to fake feelings, you're an actor. If you can sing and move at least decently on stage, you're a pop singer. If you can do any of these things, that is, if you're not attractive, you can't really act, sing, or move, then you're stuck with trying to become a contemporary artist. As that is the field where all the fame-starved and slightly untalented people go. The bad news, fame in the art world is so easy to get that it hardly counts as true fame anymore. Like Maurizio Cattelan said, being famous in the art world is too easy because the art world is like 2,000 people. The good part, because art stars are second-rate celebrities, they are not so famous that they're pestered with paparazzi, tabloids, ex-spouses, etc. That's it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.